did kind of want to preview those discussions with one guy in particular who we really do want to talk about, and that's J.O.K. J.O.K. had a hell of a season. Really broke through under Jim Schwartz, and it felt like for the first time in his career we were utilizing his full skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And the unique thing about J.O.K. was, as the season kind of went on, we were trusting him with more and more and more, and he was looking better and better and better. Even in that playoff game, like, he looked spectacular. And it feels like we've got a coach that has unlocked the absolute best out of him. So, with that being said, Derek, when you look back on the season that J.O.K. had, of course, wrapping up with a Pro Bowl appearance, what are your thoughts? What did you think about him?
Yeah, well, first things first, got to mention what you just said. J.O.K. in the Pro Bowl, it was great to see Tristan. I don't know if you saw, he took a picture with his children at the Pro Bowl. So, of course, I'm talking about the Baltimore Ravens and J.O.K. So, so yeah. Anyway, on a serious note, J.O.K. was an absolute monster. Like, I don't think people really understand, because, like, okay, I have them pulled up here. Let's pull up the stats. Stats don't look too crazy, right? J.O.K. this season, 72 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumbles, 2 picks, right? That's really, really, really good, but, some people would look at that and say, hey, that's not, like, crazy game-changing numbers from J.O.K., but it's the stuff that you didn't see on the stat sheet that was crazy for me. J.O.K. absolutely flew to the ball. He absolutely flew to the ball. Every single play that was made on that defense, I swear to you, go look at the replays, go look at film. You're going to see number 6 somewhere, like near. He was always there. And you mentioned it in the playoff game against the Texans, as heartbreaking as that was, that dude didn't care. He didn't care what the score was. He was flying to the ball. And the way that he shoots the gap is so impressive because his pursuit is unreal. The way that he can just break on a ball and see ball, get ball is insane. And Tristan, the reason why I wanted to talk about J.O.K., I genuinely believe this. I think what we've seen from J.O.K. this past season, was enough to tell me that, hey, this guy is not just a great player. I think he's a superstar in the NFL. Like, I legit think he is one of the best young defensive players in the league. Now, a lot of people won't agree with that because it's not the flashy thing. It's not the interceptions. It's not the sacks. That sort of thing. But for people who are football people, right, who can look at players and look at the guys from the past and take a real hard look and be like, yeah, that guy's for real. Like, when you turn on the tape, you see him. I think he is one of those guys through and through. And I am expecting even more out of him this next season. And Tristan, I am willing to go out on a limb and say that I think he is up there with, I'm not going to say going to be better than like a Fred Warner, but I think he can be a top 3 linebacker in the NFL. And I think he's already up there, at least, I would argue, top 5, if not pushing top 5. Like, he is that impressive. The biggest thing for me with J.O.K. is, a lot of times he kind of had a cleanup duty where it was like Miles was getting a sack and he was there, or, something along those lines. But I'm telling you right now, when it comes to, especially in the run game and run defense, right? We talked about J.O.K. and said he was the Ravens killer. That is because he is so unexplainably good in pre-snap reads. First things first, J.O.K. very rarely ever gets faked out. Like, he always knows where that ball's going. And he reads and reacts at a speed that is top of the top in the NFL. So, went to the Pro Bowl. Obviously, the Pro Bowl doesn't mean as much, but I still think it's certainly an accomplishment. Um, but listen, I think the Browns are unbelievably lucky that we have him on our team because I do think he's a difference maker. And, we saw year one of Jim Schwartz's defense. What is year two going to be now that he knows these guys a little bit more? Um, and he just sees the tools that he has to work with. I think it's going to be special. I think J.O.K. is set for an even better season. So, Tristan, I said it before, I'll say it again. Give the man a blank check. Don't let him leave this team. By any means necessary, he's got to stay.
Yeah, no, I express kind of the same thoughts as you with him. Um, a really great player. His instincts this year really showed and improved kind of later in the year. And his aggressiveness to get towards the football is just incredible. His speed and his aggressiveness, and being an undersized guy, you know, you wouldn't really be able to tell because he's always just hitting guys hard. I mean, I think it was Brees Hall who he hit when we were at the Thursday night football game together, and like we were all the way up in the upper bowl, and I swear I thought I heard those pads collide. Like that man laid him out. Um, but yeah, I mean, I'm agreeing with you on every aspect of what you said. He's got all pro potential. Not saying he's going to be an all pro guy. It's hard to tell. um, but he's got that potential. I think it's fair to say. And um, this year was a big step forward for him. And with being able to be in the same system and, being able to potentially expand upon this year could be huge for him. I will say, we don't necessarily have the guys next to him locked up. Um, and that can be a little bit concerning. However, I think that AB does a good job of finding solid replacements. Um, and I don't think we need to spend a crap ton of money at that linebacker spot to get the play that we need. So, it's going to be interesting to see what his role is next year. Maybe he has the green dot, because Anthony Walker, it's questionable if he's coming back. I tend to lean towards he's not. Although I would definitely love to have him back. We'll see. And then Taki, I don't know about him, but I would love to have him back too because I think they're both great players. But yeah, no, all in all, I'm with you. JOK's got to be on this team moving forward. Like he is just he has so much heart, and you talk about like the individual things he does well, but the passion that he brings on the football field, there's a lot of times where he's able to jumpstart the energy on this defense, and it's because of him that we're able to stay consistent because in that playoff game in particular, he had a bad play where Brevin Jordan, their tight end, ended up running and getting a touchdown, and it was his fault. But then from that moment forward, the whole game he was lights out. And it's sad that the game unfolded as it did, but I'm confident that JOK next year, we could potentially see him take another step. And I feel it's so important that we extend him, ultimately because no matter what, every single year, twice a year, we play Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. And you need that guy out there. Because I remember those games where, before JOK started playing a big role in this team, where Lamar Jackson would rush for over 100 yards and, made us look slow because we were slow. Like, mm-hmm. And now that we've got him, man, I feel like he could be a guy that he could be around for like 10 years. Mm-hmm. 10 years plus. Like, seriously, like he's got some incredible potential. He's an incredible player. And it's so weird being able to talk about this many great Browns players. Like, historically, we just haven't really had it. and for so long we haven't had it. I mean, we still like dream about the years of prime Peyton Hillis and Josh Gordon, you know, and it's
What
like
could
those
have
guys
been,
just had flashes in the pan, you know. But with these guys, it's like no, they've actually been good for many years now. J.O.K. in particular, not the best his first couple years here in Cleveland. But then once when we get him under the right coach, I mean, he's been phenomenal. So hopefully he can repeat the success he had this year because I think he's very much capable of it, and I think he's capable of expanding on it. So we'll have to see, but I'm excited to see what the future looks like for him here in Cleveland.
Yeah, I think J.O.K. is just a modern day old school linebacker. Like he is a modern day frame, modern day skill set with an old school mentality and an old school play style to an extent. Like he's going to hit you, right? I see all the time videos on TikTok talking about Ray Lewis and how relentless and how ferocious he was. And, you know, I think about it and it's like, you know what? J.O.K. is not the biggest, and I'm not saying J.O.K. is Ray Lewis, right? I'm not saying that at all for people who watch this. But what I am saying is that mentality of just whatever it takes to get to that ball. J.O.K. has that.
He's a killer.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes. He is a killer, 100%. And that's the mentality you have to have. You want to be special at the linebacker position in today's NFL, you have to have that. Right? The styles have shifted dramatically.
Did you catch my joke?
Huh?
Did you catch my joke?
No.
You compared him to Ray Lewis, and I said he was a killer.
Oh my gosh.
I knew you didn't catch it first. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go on mute for a minute. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good. You're just gonna piss the Ravens fans off, but you know, hey, it's fine. You know, we got our skeletons as well for sure, but yeah, no, I love J.O.K. He's one of my favorite players on this team. Like, I wanted us to draft him bad. Never in a million years thought we'd get him where we got him, and we did. And he is living up to every expectation, for sure, and then some. You know, this people forget. Like, this is a kid coming out of Notre Dame who just flew to the ball, right, and just looked extremely athletic. But now he's coming to the NFL, and he's doing it against the best of the best, right? And he's getting better and better. So, I don't know. I think he is, honestly, Tristan, I'm not going to lie to you. I think he's top 3, if not number 1, most underrated Cleveland Brown player right now. I think people skip over him and just kind of look at him like, oh, yeah, he's really good. But no, I think he's great. I think he is elite.
Yeah, especially when you're talking about the national media. I agree with you.
Yeah.
He's kind of not looked at in the light that Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward are. There's a couple other players like that. MJ Emerson, for sure.
Yep.
You know, there's some others like that.
Delpit,
yeah.
You could argue.
I mean, Dalvin this year I thought was great. Yeah, but again, we'll get into those individuals too in the off season. But any final thoughts on J.O.K. before we kind of move on to our next topic?
Blank check. Blank check. Give him a pen. Tell him whatever he wants. He can have $230 million guaranteed for all I care. I don't care. It would be worth it in my eyes. Like I think of him that highly personally.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Obviously, I'm joking.